Hello folks, today I'm going to look at Quest of Dungeons, which is a accessible pixel graphic roguelike. It's out on a myriad of platforms. It's on the mobile devices, Android, you name it. It's also been released on the PC and on the PS4, and I think it might be coming on the Xbox One. It's a fairly straightforward game, and it's very good at introducing new players to roguelike concepts whilst presenting it in a pleasing, easy to get into way. So as you can see, this is my run as a mage. You can play 4 different character classes. There's the warrior, which is primarily melee. You've got the mage, who has some spells, and then you've got the archer or the hunter, or whatever it's called, the ranger, which uses bows and arrows primarily, and then you've got the shaman, which is a really odd character to play. His initial spell is just to scare people, scare monsters on the way in. It's not bad. It just holds them in and stops them attacking you for a little while, but you then have to rely on your melee to take them out. Whereas this character, the mage, comes equipped with a fireball initially. It takes a little while to get skilled up enough in terms of equipment and levels so that your fireball can take things out in one go. So often you're hitting them with the fireball and then you're finishing them off with the staff, which withers away your health a little, but there's plenty of potions and things to keep you going. So you can usually get a good foothold playing as a mage. As a start off, you can be really unlucky and sort of stumble into a boss room that you didn't know was there, and then get completely trounced. But most of the time the game's quite forgiving. It'll let you plod on and beef up a bit before it starts throwing you nasties where you have to think a lot, which is why that's the primary reason I see this as a gateway roguelike for people who don't know whether they like roguelikes or they're not sure what to make of them. Perhaps they like dungeon crawlers but they don't like the idea of permadeath and things like that. Well, this game's a bit straightforward, collectathon. There's lots of loot grabbing, so there's always the positive feedback loop, and as you can see, there are quests you can pick up, sort of level based quests. So it's find an item or kill a boss in this level, and you can go up and down the levels, so you can come back after you've been down a deeper level. You can come back and attempt it. Perhaps you weren't up to the boss as you stumbled onto him, so just stay clear of him. Beef up, explore down the levels, and then come back up and sort him out. So you can see I've just found another spell book, and then you can use it and add it to your list of spells. And this one is the blizzard spell, which does freezing attacks. But the trouble is, I found this one uses considerable amount of mana, and it freezes an area of 4 squares. So it's good if you've got lots of enemies in one place, but it's quite mana inefficient to be your primary spell. So I often just stick with the fireball just to get going, and the spells, sometimes you'll find a load of books and you can just add them all in and choose them as and when you need them, but I think they're quite rare, so you collect them over time, so you're sort of reliant on your initial 1 or 2 spells for a few levels anyway. There's lots of exploration. There's a mini map that shows you the exits of each room that you can explore, and they're all nicely highlighted on the map with the down levels and the up levels, and doors that are locked by specific keys. You'll also notice there are traps on the floors, and there are sort of pads that boost you and give you a either a defense boost or increase the rewards you get from bashing things, taking the stuff out of them. There's lots of bashing things and picking stuff up. As I said, it gives you that, I'm collecting stuff, I'm getting better every time I bash a piece of crockery, I'm getting better and better. That half moon shape was a trap on the floor that releases more monsters, so if you're feeling kind of saucy, you can level up a bit more like that by activating the traps. Alternatively, if you're a bit poorly and you need to be careful, then I'd stay clear of the traps. If you're the ranger, you can actually diffuse some of the traps, I think, as you run over them. So, just collecting lots of gold. Every now and then you'll find a room with the merchant, and then you can sell up and buy something you're in need of. You know, usually it's not potions or things like that. Usually you'll buy a key. If you're waiting on a key for a specific door, you'll spend a lot of the gold collected to get that item. You can see there are your usual trash monsters running around, and then you get, every now and then there'll be wizards and archers and bosses and things. So there's a merchant, see, so you can even buy equipment from them, but they're usually not brilliant. You collect lots of gems and stones that you can sell, so some of these items are really just for selling and stashing the money. Lots of bottles of milk and food, chickens' legs. They're sort of your emergency health if you're in trouble. Some of them are can cause you to be sick as well. You've got to watch for that. I think some of the cheeses and stuff can really make you ill. But as long as you've got a few health and a few mana potions in terms of need, a couple of chicken's legs, if you just need to top up a little bit, you'll be dandy. Right, so you break everything. You can break statues and chairs and pots, and that's another trap. But usually there's something in every item in each room, so it's worth having a nose about and being a complete vandal and destroying everything. So there are teleports as well, as you can see there, the purple teleport, they're linked, basically teleport doors that you can jump around the map on, which is handy if you want to get from one end of the map to the other. Bookshelves can have spell books in it. So I'm fairly powerful at the minute, so I can do one-hit kills with my spell. There's a quest, we just got one. You can see there's a list of 3 quests I've currently got. 2 for the floor 1 and 1 for floor 2. This is floor 2. But yeah, I'm taking things out fairly quickly. So, but early on it's fireball and then staff them down. So I need a pair of rusty keys to open that door. So I'm going to have to keep that in the back of my mind, hunting out rusty keys so I can see what's behind that door. Constantly on the pickup. Yeah, so the gelatinous blobs I can't take out in one hit most of the time. So you have to melee them. Oh, hello. Here's the boss guy that I encountered. Now I'm thinking, oh, I've got a free spell, I need to get it on him. So, the blizzard thing, but it's targeting the thing behind him. So I start legging it, because the freeze one's on a cooldown. And then once I've got him out, I freeze him to hold him a bit, swap back to my fireball, and then fireball him down before he stomps me. And there you go. Game over, soldier. See if he dropped anything. So he dropped these boots that have a slight defense bonus on them, so we get them on. And carry on. I think it gives you an idea of how the game plays. I mean, it's not overly complex, and I think that's probably one of its defining features, is that it is so accessible. You know, there's a whole slew of accessible roguelikes coming out nowadays, and I think this sits there with the rest of them. And it's on consoles, so people can, even your non-PC owning gamers can dabble in roguelikes now. And based on the traditional roguelike model, so even if it is a bit streamlined, I think it's well worth a look. There's a bonus. It's not a trap, it's like a bonus area, so that's given me 100 turns of additional defense. So that would have been handy when I faced the boss. There's a teleport. There's a key from a statue. So just keep searching around. It's very basic, I suppose, but you know, you're always doing something, getting quests, collecting resources, fighting monsters, tracking your way through an unknown dungeon. I think it's got a lot going for it. Although it did get a lot of, I think when it was released on PC, it's only a few quid. I think it got a lot of slating because it's so streamlined and basic. But as I said, I think we need this sort of thing to gently coax people into playing roguelikes more than, you know, here's NetHack, ASCII mode, get stuck in. I mean, you know, sometimes this is sort of comfort food. You're just on a little crawl through the dungeon, and it's not too taxing, and it's fairly enjoyable. I chill out to it. I mean, I'm not very good at it. I'm like that with all roguelikes, but I think I find it relaxing to play, and you don't have to think too much. But there are peaks of excitement, and most of the time you're on the collecting, saving up for something, trying to get something a little bit better that'll edge you forward. and then every now and then you'll meet a boss where you really have to stop and think. Thanks very much for listening.